tonight, which by all rights should have got him into the history books, were it not for an unfortunate twist of...
Birthday greetings sponsored by Movie House Cinema's Family Pass.
Speed limits and speed.
More scattered heavy showers. Now here's...
When I look back on my life and the many different things that I've done, none of them.
At MFI this bank holiday, for 5 days only, everything is VAT-free in our less than half-price sale. This complete kitchen, with appliances, is only £782, saving over £1,200. And our independently checked prices mean the lowest sale prices, guaranteed. This Melbury bedroom is an unbeatable £255. With everything VAT-free, there's more big savings this bank holiday. The place to buy is MFI.
This bank holiday weekend at Land of Leather, pay nothing for a year. This pair of twin recliner action sofas are only $799, save £1,100. This pair of luxury sofas are only $899, save over £1,000. Get this recliner chair free. This 3-seater leather sofa and 2-seater, $499 the pair, $499 the pair, save £1,200. At Land of Leather this weekend, pay nothing for a year. No deposit, then pay with no interest or take 36 months finance. Land of Leather's offers end bank holiday Monday, 8 p.m. at Boucher Road, Belfast, Crescent Link, Retail Park, Londonderry and Coleraine, Newry and Newton Abbey.
I've been designing women's clothes for over 15 years, and my iconic fabric is silk. It feels liquid, it feels precious, it feels sensual.
You know that soft, luxurious feeling of silk? Now you can wear it every day. New Dove Silk Dry Deodorant.
Children,
which he had written into the Constitution.
Heroin addiction, until now largely a problem for Dublin's deprived areas, over the handover of IRA weapons. After a meeting in Downing Street, David Trimble warned the difficulties were likely to get worse. And that's Monday's 9 o'clock news. Next main news is News 2 at 11:15, and I'll be back tomorrow at 9. I do hope you'll join me.
Process with the British Prime Minister in Belfast pensions and heavyweight chance will be.
The man accused of the murder of Veronica Gay.
320 new jobs are to be created at the SmithKline.
Indeed, Gareth, finally tonight, what might be closed in the Corkstown.
Israeli Prime Minister.
Gay couples want family.
That is going on with Sinn Féin.
There's no sign of an below the elite and away from Moscow.
Hello again, you're watching 6-1, the main news this evening.
It's been one of the most exciting journeys and certainly one of the most enjoyable explorations I've had, because it's very close to my heart, having been born within 100 yards of it. To actually get up there to the very, very source, fall into the muck at the very top of it and follow it all the way to the sea has been a terrific experience.
From the sea, we're taking you back.
RTE today said farewell to one of its...
Your church is offering.
Welcome to Charleston, the country retreat and home for artists Duncan Grant and Vanessa Bell.
It's a jolly nice house this, isn't it? But I think it could do with a bit of brightening up, don't you? Now, let's try a little bit of red over here. La-dee, la-da-da-da-la-da. Van Gogh, eat your heart out. A little bit of blue. Good old bargain-hand colours, what? It must seem slightly strange, me painting a building, but I tell you, I don't think the original residents of Charleston would have been all that
faster. From the moment they moved in, the artists began to transform the house with decorations. Walls became canvases, door panels were used for murals, and even the bath was transformed into a work of art.
It's incredible. Every room that you enter at Charleston is crammed full of design and decoration. This is the sitting room where they would have foregathered for a drink and conversation about politics, art, sex. Not necessarily in that order. Vanessa Bell stenciled the wall decoration, Duncan Grant painted the overmantel, and even the radiator cover was especially created for the room. Not surprisingly, because Charleston was a home for artists, by 1925 they needed a bit more space, and this, the studio, was added on as an extension to the house. Ideally built with lots of north-facing light preferred by artists, the colour scheme employed on walls is this curious series of rather dull colours, but that too was preferred because the eventual works looked rather better when hung. But it wasn't all work in this room. They had their musical moments too. This is the equivalent of the hi-fi department. Actually, a pretty standard 1920s, 30s radiogram that's been personalised and decorated. For me, the focal point of this room is the fireplace surround. Traditionally, you build a room like this with a carved marble fire surround, but all Duncan Grant has done is to paint two languid figures of men flanking the fire aperture, but he's done it in a whimsical and painterly way. Your eye is deceived into thinking that those upheld arms are actually supporting that mantel shelf. And what more original feature could you have than a goldfish bowl between them? It's not surprising, really, that this room and the fireplace itself has become the iconic image to Charleston. After Duncan Grant's death in 1978, Charleston began to fall into disrepair. Fortunately for us, the Charleston Trust was set up with a view to restoring the house to its former glory. As Quentin Bell, art historian and teacher, wrote, it's a type of time capsule where the public can examine a world that's vanished. Talking about vanishing, it's my cue to shove off to the auction, where we'll find out whether the reds or the blues...
Why don't you leave us alone, Jack? We don't...
And in the embers of a wood-burning stove, he sees a power plant of the future.
Fossil fuels, on their own, can't be the answer.
He believes that almost half our energy could one day come from renewable sources, like solar panels and sustainable forests. He's been called a dreamer and a crank.
And I've been called a hippie.
And more recently, a project manager for Shell.
Coca-Cola International Rouge Series. Tickets from Ticketmaster or the GAA website. There's no compromise in international rules.
In the semi-final. On the medals table, Australia still top with 45 gold. Britain move into second place with 31, followed closely by Spain with 30 gold medals. Ireland look forward to the prospects of more medals over the next few days as some of the big guns in the Irish team go into action. Jordan as well. Ralph Schumacher coming home in second place. Oh, the opportunity's here. There it is.
home in a Swiss city synonymous with sport, Michel De Bruyne's future is being decided this evening.
Because the champion hurdle this year, the Smurfit champion hurdle, goes to the Irish on St Patrick's Day. It's Ista Bracken, Charlie Swan, who win.
Sonia O'Sullivan is coming home to an unprecedented double. Sonia O'Sullivan adds to the 10,000 metre championship, the 5,000 metre championship of Europe, only the second athlete in history to do the 5,000, 10,000 double. Sonia O'Sullivan has rewritten the history books in Budapest this Sunday evening. That is simply magnificent.
Wave coverage of the European Open right here at 3 o'clock.
Written on them.
Oh yeah.
Tonight I want something intense and
Who just kept going, like Sisyphus pushing the stone.
He left passion to the lovers and poets, because he always liked, never loved.
Yet in his dreams, he's Valentino.
Spartacus, the greatest. In his dreams, Fay Ray is his.
Here lies Mr. Anything But Average.
Because today, he said, "Please, sir, can I have
more?
More.
More.
More. More.
More.
More.
Broadband, digital TV, telephone. Magnet Entertainment. Always settle for more.
This isn't a game show. The dragons aren't in the den to amuse each other. This is their day job. Hours spent trawling through pitch after pitch after pitch, just to find that next.
Check out some seriously messy sites in How Clean Is Your House USA.
Looks like there's been a messy breakup.
Guess what she does for a living? Kim and Daggy can't believe it.
50 years ago, Britain invaded the Middle East. At stake, the Suez Canal, an opportunity for Egypt's President Nasser.
Mama, I was going to help you make the dolmio lasagna.
Sail agus sahir Christori line ag tachtan sahir TG Cahar in Nignavog Risha. Sha ná dinnigi darúd go méid George Lopez le feiscint níos ar níl nochtan sahir TG Cahar ag dechan a dó. Díreach rivisin agus níos lothe námar a bhí fógarte cólcés ag tosnú inis ag a cúig chun a hen. Ag a cúig taréis a héin ag a nochtan ag na heimside be Cormac de Barra in ar downta le imel agus a gceann uirich lig. Scahan cheoló James Quinn, Matt Dillon agus mór an eile ar glór tíre tágus rá. A chanis díreach geamid leargus níos fearr ar scríanóideacht Christori line.
Loads of more fruit.
Another block there, Ace.
There you are, not to build a Taj Mahal.
So, man.
There you go.
Makes a cup of tea there, Ace.
No problem, Donald. There you go.
New Lyons Gold Blend Reserve has been specially blended to provide our richest, smoothest cup ever.
That's just perfect. Absolutely. Shall we? Oh, Jonathan? Yes, Seamus. Trousers? Oh, my word. How embarrassing. Thank you, Seamus.
Coming up on Parkinson, the fearless Helen Mirren.
The first time we ever met,
Oh, come
he
on.
had to talk about my breasts.
They were hanging out. Fashionistas Trini and Susanna. Music from Razorlight Plus Dame Edna Everidge.
Is that what I'm with?
That's all those things.
I am going commando.
Parkinson, Saturday 10:20, UTV.
The world is watching. If we cannot resolve this in a way that is worthy of the office we seek, what kind of hope do we give other countries that wish to share our values?
The butterfly ballot that changed the world. The Emmy Award-winning Recount. Saturday at 9:05 on 4.
Lush, dealing with death in True Lives.
Deciding between what's real and what's not is never easy, especially if your name's Hell. Next.
What's the big movie?
You little rascals!
Why do they have to be so different? We're He-Man, Woman-Haters. Girls get along with each other. Boys stand up for themselves. Girls care. Boys take what's theirs. Boys won't listen. All they want to do is talk. They like to moon ya. No, we don't.
The Little Rascals, tonight at 6:30 on RTE1.
I've been designing outdoor equipment for over 25 years.
People have literally walked the earth in some of the things I've made. People's attitudes are changing. It's extremely important that we take responsibility for our own health. We have taken to the outdoors in a huge way in Ireland. An active life pays off in many ways.
Anybody at any age can do it.
You can make it as adventurous as you like. Finding out about yourself, that's what it's about. All you've got to do is take that first step. Who knows where it will lead you?
Speak up! Madam, if there is some small truth in these charges, however innocently or unknowingly you did proceed, you had best confess.
I ask you why we must tear ourselves apart for this small question of religion. Catholic and Protestant.
You think it's small, though it killed your mother?
Walking distance of their home.
Apart. No, if you can. It's a good job we're taking it off because you've a wee mark.
That was rubbing.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, now.
Within Altna Gelvin,
we
we see ourselves expanding from our current group of 5 consultants to 10 consultants or even upwards over the next several years. And I would anticipate that waiting lists, which are now less than they have been in the past, will continue in the downward trend. And that ultimately people will get a first-class orthopaedic and trauma service within reach of their home and at a reasonable expeditious time.
We're in the cancer unit in Altna Gelvin Hospital, and it's one of a small number of units throughout the province that deals specifically with cancer and its problems. Now, I have with me Paula Cunningham, and Paula was heavily involved in the planning of the cancer unit. Paula, why does Altna Gelvin need a cancer unit?
Based on our remoteness from Belfast and our geographical location within the province, most of our patients previously had to go to Belfast for treatment. Now we can offer those services here. It's less traumatic on the patient and on their relatives and carers as well, who previously may have had to take time off work to accompany their sick relative to see the clinicians. We provide chemotherapy services, that is the administration of the drugs they need as part of their treatment. The visiting oncologists come down here, they actually see their patients here on site. We provide a broad range of dietetic support, social services support, palliative care support, all required to support the patient through their journey on cancer.
That's it. That's you.
Thank you.
I'll have a look into getting a wee dinner.
Very good.
Hello, Mrs. Camps. Hello, Mr. Camps. How are you?
I just wanted to come and find out how things are going from a dietary point of view.
I had a persistent cough, but this kept going on and on. So eventually I said to the doctor one day again, this cough is still with me. So he sounded me, but he says I'll send you down to, or up to Alty-Galvin for an X-ray. But when I had the X-ray, it was a different outcome.
The X-ray was done the beginning of March, and then we didn't realise, how serious it was going to be. And the different tests, we discovered then that part of the lung had to be removed.
So from there on, I must say things went very, very quickly for me. There was no delay. Got me into the Royal, had the operation done successfully, hopefully. And then from there on, I had to have radiotherapy, chemotherapy.
He was quite strong beforehand. I think that was why they proceeded, with the surgery. And he has done quite well, but as he said himself, he has needed those different treatments. But to travel from Strabane, where we live, and go every day to Beaver would have been a very big hassle. But we were lucky and everything worked out well for us that way.
What we want is a family service here for those patients who are unfortunate enough to have to experience cancer during their lifetime.
I must say between the doctors and the nurses, they're a most dedicated, kindly lot. I can't say anything there, mind you. They talk about hospitals, but I think they're great.
Now, throughout the series, we're going to be focusing on diabetes, which has been called a modern epidemic, and it's thought to affect up to 3% of the population and takes up 10% of total health service resources. Now, I have with me Dr. Kenneth Moles, a consultant physician with an interest in diabetes in Alty-Galvin. Kenneth, it's a big problem in the northwest, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, as with every other area, we have that percentage that you quoted. So our area here, we would have about 3,500 diabetic patients. And then you're on a thing called bisoprolol.
That's right.
Yeah. Right, okay. Right, let's have a look at the blood pressure. Fairly frequently we would have people who have been referred to us just because it's been picked up on a medical, possibly for an HGV or health insurance or something of that nature. And they may have absolutely no symptoms, but most people know the classical symptoms: thirst, running to the toilet, dry mouth, etc. To see the podiatrist.
I was having to wake up during the night and things like that and go to the bathroom. Then when I went to the doctor, he said I had a slight touch of just beginning, That was about 3 years ago. I felt fairly dull at times, You knew there was something wrong, but you didn't really know what it was like. That was the beginning of it.
The people who have a family history of diabetes have a higher than average chance of having diabetes themselves. Additionally, if you have a person who has a very sedentary lifestyle, and certainly the person who's overweight, they're more at risk. But it's the long-term complications that are the big problem. A diabetic is approximately 3-4 times more likely to have a heart attack, or a stroke, or vascular disease in their legs. Diabetes is the most common cause of blindness. It's the commonest cause of new blind registrations, the commonest cause of blindness in the young population. Good control is important, and it affects many, many aspects: your diet, your exercise, your weight, your blood glucose. Certainly, if you suspect it, it's easy to diagnose, and you shouldn't delay.
Well, Sandra, we work as a multidisciplinary team. My job is to tell them what diabetes is and how it affects their body and how they can improve that, and in order to prevent complications of diabetes. Exercise is probably the biggest thing that I would talk about, and I would say to them, well, what would you enjoy doing? There's no point in telling them to do something that they will not maintain, because it's not a quick fix, it's a life change. They have to keep this going for the rest of their life.
And how are the sugars? They're doing great.
The diet is, again, for life. Keep to the diet, but occasionally have a treat, because otherwise, it's just impossible not to cheat in the diet occasionally.
I'm going to diabetic clinics now for 32 years, and this is the new clinic that's been made. I used to go to the old clinic over in the old hospital. Things have speeded up a wee bit. It used to be very long. You used to have to bring over samples of urine and all, and it was far, far longer. But with the new technology, things are speeding up.
We have been in the process of developing a rolling research programme, and we have developed a number of themes that we wish to pursue, and these include diabetes. This study will be looking at the role of home blood glucose measurements or blood sugar measurements in patients who are on tablets or diet and tablets for their diabetes. The measurement of blood sugar levels can be painful. We frequently ask patients to do it regularly during the day. Certainly we know in patients who take insulin injections it is useful, but for those patients who take tablets it's not terribly clear yet what the benefits and what the particular role is. So the study will aim to look at, first of all, is this a useful thing to do in terms of improving their diabetes, and secondly, how does it affect the patient's psychological adaptation to diabetes.
Since I took it when I was 10, I've been on insulin injections, 4 insulin injections a day, and diet and regular exercise.
They're the most important person, not me. If they don't look after their diabetes, I might as well not bother trying.
I would say to them, look, this is between you and I, we'll work this together, and if you're having problems, don't hesitate to lift the phone and ring me, and